When historians usually talk about the greatest explorers of all time, they are referring to people like Marco Polo or Vasco da Gama or Christopher Columbus. Ugh. But have you heard about this man who traveled all the way from West Africa to Saudi Arabia by foot and donated gold to whoever came across his path? He was also known as one of the wealthiest men of all time. My name is Karima from Hijabi Globetrotter, and you, my friend, are about to learn about explorers your schools never taught you. Number 5. Karima Bint Ahmed AlMarwaziya. Born in modern-day Turkmenistan, she was also known as the mother of the generous, which comes from her name. Karima in Arabic means generous. Sometimes I wonder if I am generous. Karima was a scholar and a hadith specialist, especially Sahih al-Bukhari, one of the major Sunni hadith collections. Her love for language made her travel to seek more. She mostly traveled to Turkmenistan, Persia, Jerusalem, and finally settled in Mecca, where she furthered her study of the hadith. People traveled from all over the world to learn from Karima bint Ahmed AlMarwaziya. Number 4. Xiang Hai or Xiang Hai, born in Yunnan, China at the end of the 14th century to a Muslim family of Kunming in the Ming dynasty of China. His travels mostly took him to Southeast Asia and even as far as the Horn of Africa, which was around Somalia area. Xiang Hai was known as one of the greatest Chinese explorers of all time. He loved culture and languages. He was fluent in Arabic and Mandarin Chinese. Xiang Hai later became an admiral, a diplomat, and a trader. Wherever he went and the battles he fought, he was always fair to whoever he interacted with and respected people's traditions and their cultures. He never really tried to impose his religion or his ways on others. He was always trying to learn and seek knowledge from other people. So this is one of the greatest Muslim and Chinese explorers of all time. Number 3. Ibn Arabi. Ibn Arabi is not mostly spoken about. Ibn Arabi was born in Murcia, Spain, and he traveled all over the Muslim world. He's known as a mystical poet and philosopher. People from high Muslim elites and other rankings in societies loved Ibn Arabi. Whenever Ibn Arabi spoke, a lot of people were all ears because he always had something wise to say, and he gave advice to powerful leaders, he gave advice to teachers, and he himself was a very wise and well-respected person in the Muslim world. Number 2. Mansa Musa. Known till today as one of the most wealthiest men in the world, Mansa Musa was born in Mali. He was a king and also an educator and a traveler. He mostly traveled across West Africa, North Africa, and the Middle East. He loved to learn from people from all over the world. People loved to learn from him as well. He was not a stingy person. He usually liked to give out his wealth to people wherever he went to. It was said that one time when he was going on a pilgrimage to Mecca in Saudi Arabia, he went with his entourage on the camel through the Sahara Desert, traveling for days, and just started throwing gold to whoever he saw or whoever came across him. He was just known as a generous king, and that was one of his characteristics. So he not only shared knowledge, he also shared wealth as well. He liked to collect artifacts from places all over the world. For example, in Southern Europe, in Spain in particular, he would gather collections from there, bring it back to the Mali Empire. Mali at that time was a formidable empire in West Africa, and at that time as well, around the world, people knew of the Malian Empire. It was known as a center of excellence, especially in Timbuktu. In fact, Timbuktu produced the first university in the world, known as the Sankore University. I believe that it is still there to now, but it's not the same as it used to be. In Timbuktu, people from Europe, from the Middle East, from other parts of Africa, and so on will gather together in Timbuktu to share the knowledge they have and also learn from the Malian king, Mansa Musa. Number 1, Ibn Battuta. Ibn Battuta is a tangerine. No, silly, not the fruit, but actually from the city of Tangier, Morocco. So he was from that city, and he went from Morocco to different parts of the world, mostly the Muslim world. Ibn Battuta went to over 44 countries, mostly the Middle East, Central Asia, China, and West Africa. His journey took 30 years to complete, and he didn't really write a journal during his journey, but the Moroccan government instructed him that he should kind of keep a collection of like his encounters while traveling, and that collection today is known as Rihla, which in Arabic means travel, and it's still referred to many times today to kind of learn from history and learn from Ibn Battuta's journey. As a traveler, I always wonder, like, how can you financially support yourself, especially traveling for 30 years? So I don't know exactly how Ibn Battuta funded himself specifically, like, you know, over those years, but based on my research, it is said that Ibn Battuta was a qadi, which means judge in Arabic. He was a judge in many places that he visited. He was a judge in Morocco, in New Delhi, and in the Maldives as well. And people in the Muslim world are very hospitable to travelers. In Islam, it says that if you're kind to a traveler, you get reward from God. So many Muslims, whenever they meet a traveler, they make concerted efforts to be friendly, to help out, to make your journey easy and stress-free. And that was mostly how Ibn Battuta was able to survive while traveling for 30 years through the gifts and hospitality of people from the Muslim world. Ibn Battuta is known today, even though it's been thousands of years, and also his voyage has influenced people to name buildings around the world. So it's not uncommon to go to places in the Middle East and like Southeast Asia and see Ibn Battuta Library, Ibn Battuta School, Ibn Battuta Hotel, Ibn Battuta this and that, just because he was a very, very influential traveler in the Muslim world. Those are the top 5 Muslim travelers you should know of all time. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Or if you know more travelers that I didn't mention, also feel free to comment down below. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Hasta luego!